I'm Dave, and this is Austin's Kamado Joe Masterclass. The first thing you need to know about cleaning a Kamado Joe is that what you use to clean it matters. Using the wrong brush, the wrong chemical, or the wrong technique, and you can damage your grill. Cleaning a Kamado Joe the right way is easy to do. Your grill will last for years, and your food will taste better. Here's what happens when you don't thoroughly clean your Kamado Joe. 1. Leftover grease and fat go rancid. That rancid grease vaporizes on your next cook and lands on your food. Have you ever had a steak that tasted off, like old smoke? That's from dirty ceramic. 2. Ash sits in the bottom, absorbs moisture, and creates a breeding ground for mold. Mold will grow on the grates and on the porous ceramic. Now every cook tastes bad. 3. The Kontrol Tower top vent gums up with grease until you can't move it. You're trying to dial in 225 degrees Fahrenheit and the vent is stuck. Now what? And 4. Dirty deflector plates will affect the flavor of what you cook. All that burned on fat from last month's brisket will smoke again and ruin the taste of your next meal. A clean grill means clean smoke and better tasting food. Today I'm going to show you the complete cleaning process. The grates, the ceramic exterior, the Kontrol Tower top, the side tables, the deflector plates, inside the dome, and the deep clean burn-off. Then I'll tell you about 6 common mistakes and how to avoid them. Stick around to the end because mistake number 4 is the one that can crack your grill. Before we begin, let's talk about the specific tools you will need. Number 1, use a wire coil grill brush, not bristles, coils. Traditional bristle brushes shed. Those tiny metal wires break off, stick to your grates, and end up in your food. The FDA has been warning about this for years. There are many bristle-free coil brushes available, and they're inexpensive. The coils won't shed and won't get into your food. Number 2, a stiff brush. I'm talking about the kind you find at an auto parts store, stiff nylon or natural bristles. This is for knocking ash off the ceramic walls and deflector plates. Number 3, non-abrasive microfiber cloths for cleaning the exterior. Paper towels work at a pinch, but microfiber won't leave lint behind. Number 4, mild dish soap. Nothing abrasive and nothing with bleach, just mild soap. Number 5, a shop vac with a brush attachment and a heavy-duty bag inside to catch the ash. And number 6, disposable gloves. This gets messy. That's it. No chemicals, no oven cleaner, no pressure washer, just these 6 things. Let's get to it. This is what you should do after every cook. It takes 5 minutes. Step 1, the grates. While they're still warm, take the coil brush and scrub both sides. The warmth keeps the grease soft. 10 seconds per side, that's it. If you wait until the grill is cold, that grease will get hard and you're going to be scrubbing for 10 minutes instead. Step 2, the exterior. Take a damp microfiber cloth, just water, and wipe down the outside of the dome, the base, and the side tables. Wipe off the dust, pollen, barbecue sauce, and fingerprints. If there's a grease spot, use 1 drop of dish soap on the cloth. Not on the grill, on the cloth. Wipe, then go over it with a clean, damp cloth. You don't want any soap residue baking onto the ceramic the next time you fire it up. Step 3, the Kontrol Tower. Grease and smoke condenses on the metal. If you let it build up, the vent will seize. We'll get to the deep cleaning later on, but a quick wipe down now helps prevent the problem. Open the top vent all the way and wipe the underside with a paper towel. Step 4, dump the ash, even if it's only half full. Ash is a moisture magnet. Leaving it in there between cooks could cause mold to grow. 5 minutes? Done. Your grill is ready for the next cook. Once every couple of months or before you put the grill away for the season, you will need to do a deep clean burn-off. This is the single most effective way to clean your ceramic. Here's the process. First, scrape and brush the grates with your coil brush. Get the surface debris off. Second, load the firebox with lumped charcoal. Fill it up to just under the accessory rack. You need a big fire for this, more fuel than for a normal cook. The goal is to get sustained high heat. Third, place the deflector plates on the accessory rack dirty side down. Whatever's caked on, brisket drippings, rib fat, whatever, face it toward the fire. The heat will incinerate it. Fourth, put the cooking grates on the top position. They're going to go through the burn-off process too. Fifth, leave the lid open for about 10 minutes so the fire can get established. You want all the charcoal lit, not just one spot. Sixth, close the lid and leave the bottom vent wide open. Swing the control tower top open. You're aiming for 600 to 700 degrees Fahrenheit or more. Once you hit that range, close the vent slightly to hold it there and let it run for 1 full hour. At 600 degrees Fahrenheit, organic matter doesn't just burn, it incinerates. Every grease molecule, every carbon deposit, every stray bit of food turns to fine white ash. This high heat burn-off may or may not clean the inside of the dome. It all depends on how dirty it is. If the inside of the dome is still black and greasy, remove the grates and the deflector plates. Refill the firebox with charcoal. Open the bottom vent fully and relight the grill. Leave the lid open for about 10 minutes to let the fire establish. Then close the lid and swing open the control tower top vent. Let the grill run for 1 hour. Again, you're aiming for 600 to 700 degrees Fahrenheit. It will likely go higher, and that's okay. After an hour, swing the control tower lid back to its normal position and open up the top vent to its widest position. Let it run like this for another hour. Now close down both top and bottom vents so they're only open about 1/4 of an inch. After 1 hour, close the bottom vent completely. Wait 10 minutes, then close the top vent completely. This slowly starves the fire and lets the grill cool down gradually. Do not open the lid during the cool down. Rapid temperature change is what cracks ceramic. Just let it cool completely. When it's cold, open it up and the grease and cooking residue inside will have turned to a fine white powder. Let's clean it out. Be sure to wear gloves. This is the messy part. Step 1, brush off both sides of the cooking grates. Step 2, brush off both sides of the deflector plates with a stiff brush. Not the grill brush, the stiff brush. Get all the white powder off. Step 3, remove the accessory rack and the divide and conquer rack. Brush those down too. Step 4, remove any remaining charcoal from the firebox. Step 5, take out the ash basket or drawer and brush it clean. Step 6, brush the firebox ceramic walls, then remove the metal retaining ring. Carefully lift out each ceramic wall plate and set it down on something soft, like an old towel. Step 7, remove the firebox bottom, then the steel ash drawer, then the drawer bottom. Ash builds up underneath the drawer system and you won't see it unless you pull everything out. It will choke your airflow. Step 8, reach inside the empty base with a stiff brush and knock down any ash clinging to the ceramic walls. There will be more than you think. Step 9, use the ash tool to push everything you can through the bottom vent. Then use a shop vac with a brush attachment and vacuum out everything that's left. The bottom, the walls, the lid interior. Vacuum off the firebox base, both sides of the wall plates, and the retainer ring. You want everything really clean. After the burn-off, the deflector plates might still have some stubborn carbon spots. They're cosmetic and will not affect your food. Don't scrape it, don't chip at it, don't use steel wool, and most certainly don't soak the plates in water. Ceramic is porous and absorbs water. Soaking a ceramic plate and then heating it will certainly crack the plate. The exterior ceramic. Take a microfiber cloth, dampen it with warm water, and add 1 drop of mild dish soap. Wipe down the dome and the base in circular motions. Rinse the cloth, wring it out, and go over everything again with clean water to remove any soap residue. To clean the gasket, simply wipe it down with a slightly damp microfiber cloth, nothing more. The adhesive that holds it onto the ceramic is nothing more than double-sided tape, so be gentle with it. Never use chemical degreasers, oven cleaner, bleach, or anything with ammonia. They can damage the ceramic. The control tower top vent. This is the most neglected part of any Kamado Joe. The top vent collects grease vapor every time you cook. After a few months, it gums up and one day you'll try to swing it open and it won't budge. Here's how to clean it. If the vent still moves, take it off the grill. The cap lifts right off the dome. Fill the sink with warm water and a few drops of dish soap. Separate the pieces and soak them for 20 minutes. Then scrub them with a non-abrasive sponge. Get into the seams where the grease hides. Rinse, dry completely, and reassemble it. If the vent is stuck, it means that paint has likely chipped and the aluminum underneath has corroded. That means it's time for a new one. Watch my video where I tested several different top vent replacement options. A link is in the description below. The side tables. Warm soapy water, microfiber cloth. Don't use anything abrasive. It will scuff the surface. While you're in maintenance mode, be sure to check the gasket and the bands. Run your fingers along the top and bottom gasket. Look for frayed edges, peeling sections, or spots that have gone completely flat. A good gasket makes an airtight seal. A worn gasket leaks air, and you can't control temperature with an air leak. If it looks worn, replace it. Watch my video on how to replace a gasket. It's not hard to do. The bands. Over time, the nuts on the metal bands, side tables, and handles will become loose. Loose bands cause the lid to misalign. A misaligned lid will create a gap and more air leaks. Go around the grill and check all of the nuts on the upper and lower bands. Check the screws near the latch, check the lower hinge bolts. Make them snug, but don't over-tighten them. The thermometer. Don't assume that your dome thermometer is accurate. Here's how to check it and recalibrate it. On the back side of the thermometer, you'll find a nut. Hold the thermometer and unscrew that nut. Carefully remove the nut and the washer and then pull the thermometer out. If the stem is caked with black soot, gently sand it with 220 grit sandpaper. A couple of turns is all it takes. Now make a pot of boiling water. Now here's the important part. You need to know what temperature water boils at where you live. Water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit only if you're at sea level. I'm using my ThermoWorks probe and discovered that water boils here in Austin, Texas at 208 degrees Fahrenheit. Once you know the temperature of boiling water where you live, dip the thermometer into the water and calibrate it to that temperature. Make sure that neither probe tip touches the bottom of the pan because that will give you an inaccurate reading. So check this out. My thermometer says the water is 180 degrees. That's off 28 degrees, but it's easy to recalibrate. Here's how. There's a small nut on the back of the thermometer. Turn that nut until the needle hits your target boiling point. It doesn't take much, just nudge it a little bit. After your thermometer is calibrated, reinstall it in the dome. Don't crank it down, just snug it up so it doesn't spin when you clean it. This is 5 minutes of annual maintenance that'll keep your grill performing like new. Here are the 6 most common cleaning mistakes and how to avoid them. Mistake number 1, using a wire bristle grill brush. I said it before and it's worth saying it again. Bristles break off, stick to your grate, and end up in your food. Use a wire coil brush, period. Mistake number 2, using chemical cleaners on the ceramic. Remember, ceramic is porous. Oven cleaner, degreaser, bleach, they don't rinse off porous ceramic. They bake in, and then they bake into your food. Nothing should touch the inside of the grill except fire. Mistake number 3, scraping the ceramic. When you see flaky black soot on the inside of the dome, you're going to want to scrape it off. Don't do it. Only remove what's loose with a gentle brush. Anything that's stuck, stays stuck. Heat will remove it during the burn-off. Mistake number 4, allowing the grill to cool down with the lid open after a high heat burn-off. Ceramic needs to heat and cool slowly. Rapid temperature change will crack ceramic. Mistake number 5, closing the vents tight for storage. If you're putting your grill away for a while, leave the vents cracked open. Bottom vent open a half an inch, top vent open a quarter of an inch. Even under a cover, trapped moisture condenses inside. Without airflow, mold grows. A clean, dry grill with open vents allows airflow and will prevent mold growth. Mistake number 6, using a plastic tarp as a cover. A plastic tarp traps moisture. Get a cover that's waterproof on the outside and breathable on the inside, so rain stays out and condensation escapes. Kamado Joe makes a nice one. Buy it and use it. A plastic tarp will do more damage than no cover at all. So, here's the summary. After every cook, brush the grates while they're warm, wipe the exterior, do a quick pass on the control tower and dump the ash. Every 4 to 6 weeks, clean the control tower in soapy water. Every 2 to 3 months, or before storage, do a full burn off at 600 to 700 degrees Fahrenheit. Complete teardown, vacuum everything, inspect the gasket and bands, and replace the gasket if it's worn. That's it. This routine will keep your Kamado Joe running like new for many years. And when you've got a clean grill and clean smoke, that's when this thing really shines. You can find the complete cleaning checklist in my Kamado Joe Owner's Handbook. There's a link in the description and pinned comment. Hey, if you liked the video, let me know, and please subscribe and ring the bell. Watch my Kamado Joe 101 playlist right now.